Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Param Gurudev ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupāda ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Nagogariya Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Padadasa Gunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki Jai Urja Vrat ki Jai Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shri Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji Kishore Krishna Prabhu and Champak Mataji. Oh, and here I see on YouTube Pramila Mataji Hari Bo. All right. So I'm not sure if you're in our WhatsApp group, then you would have seen my message. But if you're not, the reason why I'm starting late today is because I needed to take a power nap. I was falling asleep super heavily just now in the previous, the daily kirtan session that we had is a little weird. I was like, I didn't even with songs that I didn't, like, I don't know them that well. Like I was singing Chaitanya Ashtakam and I was singing, somehow I was reading and singing it, but I was completely asleep. And then I woke up and I was like, what was I singing? Yeah, anyways. Yeah. All right. Sorry, enough of that. So today we are going to read a book written by Mūla-prakṛti Mātājī. It's called Our Śrīla Prabhupāda, A Friend to All. I haven't read the book I've never read the whole book through, and I've only read parts of it, like, offerings here and there, a very long time ago. So I don't have anything in my head right now. I'm just going to open it up and just select different remembrances. But if anybody has any, I remember there's one very beautiful one I read on Śrīla Prabhupāda's appearance day. I'll definitely read that one when Śrīla Prabhupāda was sweeping in Radha Damodar temple in the middle of the night. So I'll definitely read that one. But other than that, I don't have any in my mind to read. So if anybody has any suggestions of which one I should read, let me know. Yeah, Pramila Mataji, it's available online and also in Vrindavan. It's available at Ras Bihari Lal and different bookshops like that. If there's anybody going back to, you're in Costa Rica, right? If there's anybody going back, we can send a copy back. I'm just looking at the comments here. BK Madhusudan Maharaj has nice memories. Okay, cool. I can read from him. And then at the end, after we read for a little while, maybe at around 8 o'clock, if Nri Hari Prabhu, if you're feeling up to it, I know your health isn't very good right now, but if you're feeling strong enough and up to it, then if you'd like to glorify Śrīla Prabhupāda, that would be really nice. But no pressure if you're feeling out of it right now.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll see how I feel, but I think it'll be okay.
Okay. Great.
By now I'm lying down.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. I just found it online. Where is it? It should be in downloads. Where is it? There, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Actually, let me just see if it will open like this. Okay, cool. Okay, so our Śrīla Prabhupāda. Early contemporaries remember him. It's a beautiful picture of Śrīla Prabhupāda. This book, A Friend to All, is dedicated to our Śrīla Prabhupāda, who continues to reveal his unlimited love and reciprocation to the vast he continues to reveal his unlimited love and reciprocation to the vast world of Vaishnavas, whose hearts have been transformed by his mercy. So this book starts with the Grihastha years in Kolkata from the 1920s. And it has remembrances of Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Maharaj, Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Maharaj, Bhakti Kamala Madhusudan Maharaj, Shripad Nayanananda Das Babaji Maharaj. Oh yeah, we read about him in... Oh, Gargi Devi Dasi. That's Umadiri's sister. Cool. Srila Damodar Maharaj. I wonder if that's Bhakti Prapanna Damodar Maharaj. No, what's his name? Yeah. Then Shriman Krishnadas Prabhu, Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj, Shriman Devi Prasad Maskar, Shripad Madhav Das Babaji Maharaj. So those are from the 1920s, and then in the 1930s, the Allahabad years. Dr. Obial Kapoor, Shripad Acharya Maharaj, Gaur Krishna Goswami, Bhakti Vaibhav Sagar Maharaj. Oh, I know Bhakti Vaibhav Sagar Maharaj. He's very nice. He's in... I went to visit him a couple times to get offerings about Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj and about Srila Gurudev. He lives at Rudra... What is it called? Rudradvip Gauriyamat? Yeah. Then Grihastha years in Navadvip and Kolkata from the 1940s. There's Srila Gurudev's remembrances, Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj, Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Maharaj, Bhakti Vedanta Radanti Maharaj, I don't know who that is. Then Dayal Hari Brahmachari, Pishima, so Srila Prabhupada's sister, I'm guessing. Vaishnav Maharaj, Sukhananta Prabhu, now he is Akinchan Maharaj. Okay. And then there's remembrances from his Jhansi years from the 1950s. His Vanaprastha years in Vrindavan, Mathura and Delhi from 1954. And Sannyas years at Radha Damodar from 1959. And then ISKCON years from 1967. So that's how this book is divided up. Let's read the preface. One second. Oh, Hare Krishna Shubhananda Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Okay, Nayanananda Das Babaji also has nice memories. Cool. We'll read his as well then. So, this is a preface. And actually this book was published right after she passed away, didn't it? She prepared it all, it was all ready to go, and then she left this world in a very auspicious way with many devotees doing kirtan all around her in Vrindavan, and then this book was published soon after. I remember that morning in November 1977 as if it were yesterday. Hundreds of us huddled in Los Angeles, frozen in disbelief at the news of Śrīla Prabhupāda's passing. At the same time, around the planet, all Śrīla Prabhupāda's disciples struggled to comprehend the impossible. Our leader, our hero, our closest friend, our guardian, and ever well-wisher had departed from this world. Now the years have passed. They have changed us in 1,000 ways. But for many of us, at least one thing remains the same. Despite his physical absence, Śrīla Prabhupāda is still the source of our inspiration. He lifts us through the best and worst times. It is him we turn to in prayer, and he who holds sway over our hopes and aspirations. One whom Śrīla Prabhupāda continued to impact in an extraordinary way was my wife, Mūla-prakṛti Dasi. For over 3 decades, I knew her to be tenacious in her desire to please him. Over the last few years, Mūla's affection for Śrīla Prabhupāda sent her trekking throughout India with only a handheld tape recorder and a hunch. Her hunch proved true. People who knew Śrīla Prabhupāda before he went to the West had a gold mine of untold nectar to share. At first she jotted down their recollections simply because she was so moved by them. But as many of you know, Mūla's nature was to share whatever she learned. Gradually, the idea for a book was born. A huge stack of taped interviews full of Hindi, Bengali, and hopelessly broken English soon grew far beyond her expectations. She found herself working long hours, often alone, on a task she sometimes felt was over her head. And of course, cameras, computers, recorders, and just about everything else malfunctioned whenever they are most needed. In the midst of countless setbacks, though, Mūla's single-minded dedication to Śrīla Prabhupāda and his family of devotees never let her stop. Her main concern was, will the devotees like it? I can attest that Mūla's sincerity to please all of Śrīla Prabhupāda's followers guided her from the first to the last interview. Throughout the years, she never gave up hope that our common bond, affection for Śrīla Prabhupāda, would persuade us to work together in mutual appreciation despite our many differences. She found inspiration and hope in Śrīla Prabhupāda's famous purport in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is chapter 5, verse 11. When there is fire in a house, the inmates of the house go out to get help from the neighbors, who may be foreigners, and the neighbors understand the need, even though not expressed in the same language. The same spirit of cooperation is needed to broadcast this transcendental message of the Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the polluted atmosphere of the world. Our Śrīla Prabhupāda, a friend to all, is a product of this hope. It is a tribute to Śrīla Prabhupāda that is presented for the happiness and the unity of his sincere admirers. Sometimes, when an attempt is made to glorify a great acharya, others may feel slighted. However, this book is meant to demonstrate the harmony and love between true devotees. The differences and conflicts that inevitably surface in the course of preaching are here put into a deeper and broader perspective, one of loving exchanges, friendship, compassion, and shared humor. Seen in this context, these memories of Śrīla Prabhupāda can only deepen our appreciation, respect, and love for Śrīla Prabhupāda. We, his followers, can learn from his example, not only as Jagadguru, but also in his dealings as a friend, a godbrother, and a well-wisher. The contemporaries who knew and loved Śrīla Prabhupāda did so not because of his fame or success, but as a natural reaction to his love for them. by hearing of their loving exchanges with Śrīla Prabhupāda, we can increase our wealth, our love for, and our surrender to him. As I write this in Sri Vrindavan Dham, Mūla has just departed from this world. 9 months ago, during a stay in Vrindavan, she was diagnosed with cancer. After a courageous battle with this disease, she came back to the spiritual home Śrīla Prabhupāda has given us all in order to leave her body. This project thus has the added significance of being Mūla's final offering in this world to her beloved Śrīla Prabhupāda. Gopa Vrindapal Das. Wow. Okay. Introduction. It has taken well over 8 years to collect this array of memories of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I first became interested in the subject of Śrīla Prabhupāda and his relationships with his early friends over 20 years ago, when several of them spontaneously recalled such beautiful memories that I felt my enthusiasm to know Śrīla Prabhupāda increase. Over the years, on frequent travels throughout India, and especially while residing in Vrindavan near Śrīla Prabhupāda's rooms at Radha Damodar Mandir, I came across many Vaishnavas who had known Śrīla Prabhupāda before he left for the West. I questioned them and informally noted their accounts. A pattern emerged. Almost every story I heard from these elderly sadhus, friends, admirers, and family members left me feeling more appreciative of Śrīla Prabhupāda's unique position. As I shared my experiences with godbrothers and godsisters, it became obvious that these sweet Prabhupada memories might be a goldmine of inspiration to Śrīla Prabhupāda's followers everywhere. I realized a book would be the natural outcome of my research. Thus, the detective work began, and over the last 8 years, we picked up every clue and name we could. A search was conducted for anyone who knew him. Gradually, the book took on a life of its own. It is astonishing to see how many lives Śrīla Prabhupāda had touched, even before he came to the West as Acharya. It is a tribute to the potency of his expansive affection that so many different kinds of people were significantly transformed by his association. I cannot imagine what would have been the length of this book if we had started years earlier, when so many of his most intimate associates were still alive. Many who knew him will never be heard from, as they passed on before they could be contacted. Even among those whose words we recorded, many are now no longer with us. Some of the interviews were conducted in English, but most were translated from Hindi or Bengali. On occasion, some information has been culled from previously written or recorded material. Most of the interviewees were quite elderly. Many are advanced devotees in their own right, and some are also revered acharyas of their own missions. Others are simply fortunate souls who have been touched by Śrīla Prabhupāda's kindness and compassion. To show how Śrīla Prabhupāda touched all those with whom he had contact, we have included a variety of interviews with people of very diverse backgrounds. Some of our interviews are brief snapshots of memory. Others are quite extensive. They also may not all be equal as exchanges of depth, substance, or depth. But despite these differences, the common ground is that each one of the interviewees felt moved, touched, or blessed in a personal and profound way. What we have heard from these people has inspired us to further appreciate the depth of Śrīla Prabhupāda's character and devotion. It has clearly left us with a more profound insight into his universal love and affection. Our simple motive is that all who read these pages will receive the same result. Although this is just a drop in the ocean of his glories, we hope it will encourage those who thirst year after year, life after life, for his precious company and service. A question may arise regarding the authenticity of the recollections gathered here. The frailty of human memory and tendency toward motivation are obvious possible defects. Nevertheless, in previous publications about Śrīla Prabhupāda, individual memories equally difficult to verify have also been used. These are oral histories, not legal documents. We have cross-referenced and corroborated whenever possible to ensure validity, and interviews in question were either not included or reconducted. We apologize for any mistakes, but ultimately, this book is not meant to be a biographical history. It is purely inspirational. We attest that each of the people whose interviews we've finally selected spoke solely to glorify Śrīla Prabhupāda. Many, if not most, were shy and only once came forward with continued coaxing. Some were emotional, and a few even broke down with feeling, unable to continue as they fondly remembered him. Many of the contributors knew that there was something special about our Śrīla Prabhupāda, even from their very first meetings with him. Some knew of the order of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada that was upon him, but certainly none knew the miracle that was to come. However, all of us, his countless followers whose lives are part of this miracle, can now see in retrospect the previews these interviews offer with regard to his true potency and glory. Mūla-prakṛti Devi Dasi. Editor's Preface. The chapters in this book introduce Śrīla Prabhupāda's friends from the 1920s until the 1970s. The interviews are grouped, for the most part, according to when the individuals met Śrīla Prabhupāda, even though their relationship with him often continued throughout Śrīla Prabhupāda's life. The reader may note occasional discrepancies in historical details. These fall into two categories. One is where a person, time, or event may be remembered differently by the various interviewees. For example, some remember a particular governor who visited Śrīla Prabhupāda as being from Orissa, while others remember him as being the governor from UP. The other discrepancy is when accounts are at variance with previously published information. For example, several of our interviews place Śrīla Prabhupāda in the Radha Damodar Mandir while he was still wearing white, before he took sannyas. In both cases, we have not attempted to adjust what has been said. Such details in no way detract from the essence of each interview. Moreover, it is possible these interviews may introduce new information. To use the above example of Radha Damodar, our own research shows that Śrīla Prabhupāda could have moved there anywhere from 1959 to 1962. And there's a chance he lived in an upstairs room while one of his downstairs rooms was being renovated. A note on the use of the word bhav. In Hindi or Bengali, bhav is used to describe intense emotion or mood. As we go to press, it has been only days since our friend Mūla-prakṛti left this world in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Since this book is being completed after Mūla's departure from this world, we can only hope that we have thanked all those who have assisted in its production. We offer our humble apologies if anyone has been omitted. That was written by Mātājī, Manjari Devi Dasi. Okay, invocation. Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukka sukha kshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma drida nishtaya mayarpita mano buddhir yomar bhakta same priya. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. It's Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 13 to 14. Grihastha years in Kolkata from the 1920s. Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Dev Gosvāmī Mahārāja. One second, I just need to blow my nose. I'll be right back. Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Mahārāja joined the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1927 and was ordained in the Sannyas order in 1930. He is the founder Acharya of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Śrīla Prabhupāda considered Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja his close friend. This interview took place at the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math in Navadvip, March 1978. It is supplemented with excerpts from taped classes and darshans. One second, I'm just checking the... Oh, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Mahārāja, Sajan Mahārāja. And also Vrinda Didi, Hare Krishna. And I see there are a few other devotees there. Hare Krishna, everybody. Okay. I visited Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja's math with our baby daughter, Nama Pracharani Dasi, and was kindly invited to stay for some time. During our week-long visit, we were invited to meet with Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja in his upstairs quarters. He was extremely affectionate to us and generous with his association as well. When I asked him about his friendship with our Śrīla Prabhupāda, he was happy to describe a few prominent recollections. Though I did not have a tape recorder available and thus cannot verify his exact words, I pray to the assembled devotees that they may glean the essence of nectar from this rendition. Prabhupada, so Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Maharaj says, Prabhupada, then known as Abhay Babu Prabhu, shared a very thick relationship that went back many years, since perhaps the 1920s at their Gurudev's Kolkata Math in Bagh Bazar. Śrīla Prabhupada's family, the Mulaks and the Days, lived close by the mandir, and the two godbrothers had personal dealings for many years. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja first recollected the special times he shared with Śrīla Prabhupāda at the Sita Kanta Banerjee Lane house and the Saraswat Math. Śrīla Prabhupāda had rented two adjacent houses, one for residence and one for business, and he donated the upstairs rooms above his chemical business for the small temple. He encouraged Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja to come from Navadvip and stay and preach there. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja came regularly and stayed for engagements that Prabhupada had arranged amongst local devotees, friends, relatives, and business associates. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja explained how Śrīla Prabhupada's fervor for establishing Siddhanta and spreading Krishna consciousness was legendary. He recalled the many letters Śrīla Prabhupada consistently wrote to all Indian leaders and dignitaries. How many sincere people he brought to their Gurudev's shelter, and how much he was engaged in sadhan, which included chanting, studying, writing literatures, and distributing them. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja admitted that his nature was not inclined to go out in public, but that during this time, our Śrīla Prabhupāda single-handedly pulled him out for preaching. He also recalled how Gandhi was in Kolkata when they were living at 66 Sita Kanta Banerjee Lane. He said, Prabhu came into the house there and said, "Come on, Gandhi here is in Kolkata. We have to go over there right now. We must tell him that he must give the people Krishna consciousness. You and I, we are going to tell him." A very vivid memory that Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja shared described his part in Śrīla Prabhupada's leaving his Kolkata home and taking Vanaprastha. This was in the early 1950s. He said one night at around 1 or 2 a.m., there was a vigorous knocking on the door of the upstairs math. It was Śrīla 1950s. Okay. It was Śrīla Prabhupāda in great excitement, exclaiming how he had just experienced a vivid dream. One second. Their Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupāda, had appeared to him and strongly ordered him to renounce his household life and take the sannyas order. Śrīla Prabhupāda was shaking with emotion, explaining how he had so much responsibility to the family and to that dharma. So how could this be done? Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja said that Abhay Babu nevertheless earnestly requested him to please award the sannyas ashram to him immediately. Śrīla Mahārāja told him that he was personally favorably disposed to do this, except for the connection he had with the Mulak and Dey family. He explained how they would most probably be disturbed if he were to be the agent. He felt it was perhaps better to do things gradually, and he suggested he prepare himself internally and then gradually introduce the idea to all of them. Then he should wait for some time to see the results. Śrīla Prabhupāda accepted this proposal reluctantly. Some months passed, and they continued their association in preaching programs whenever Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja visited the Kolkata Math. Some time later, as he was sleeping during the night, there was the same loud banging on the door. Śrīla Prabhupāda was there, and he repeated his story. Their Gurudev had again appeared in his dream. Even more forcefully, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupāda was demanding that his disciple quit his home life and take the renounced order. Again, Śrīla Prabhupāda requested Śrīla Mahārāja to give him sannyas. He exclaims that he was ready at that moment. His reservations were all gone, and he was eager to obey their guru's orders. One second, I need to blow my nose again. I'm really sorry about this. Maybe I get my gum shot. This. Okay. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja told me, I again requested him to please wait a while longer. I suggested he take Bahudak sannyas, which involves living in just a short distance away from the home, but still near enough for the family's gradual detachment. I was family that perhaps... Wait, what? That says, I was family. I was family that perhaps many might go against... I was thinking that perhaps many might go against the Gaudiya Math because of this. I encouraged caution. However, this time he was not amenable. He listened to my proposal, but replied that it was not his own decision. It was coming from above, from their master, so it must be done. The next morning when we awoke, there was commotion in the house next door. He had left his residence in the night. He was gone, and none were informed of his destination. He took nothing, no baggage, no clothes, no prasad or Lakshmi. I consider this to be my great loss. The close relationship between our Śrīla Prabhupāda and Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja continued throughout the rest of their lives. There are innumerable tapes and quotes from both of them about their friendship and mutual admiration. Sorry. I'm a little bit, not all there right now. Included here is just one significant conversation between Śrīla Prabhupāda and Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja that recounts a portion of their early association and reflects the devotional service and intimacy they shared. It is insufficient to fully represent their experiences together. Hopefully this will be researched and recorded by future Vaishnava historians. The following is taken from a tape recording of a lecture that took place in 1973 at the opening of the Sri Chaitanya Chandrodaya Mandir in Mayapur, West Bengal. It includes a discussion in which Śrīla Prabhupāda, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda and Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja, who are sitting together on the Vyasasan, share memories of their early association together. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. So, sorry guys, that's really good. I should mute the mic next time I do that. Okay. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. So our Swami Mahārāja has done a miracle. Thakur Bhakti Vinod conceived, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur began to translate this conception into action. And we find that through Swami Mahārāja, in his last days, it has been fulfilled to such a great extent. We are happy, we are glad, we are proud. Śrīla Prabhupāda. One second, I'm going to mute my mic 1 second. Okay. And Śrīla Prabhupāda. By Guru and Vaishnav, whatever position I have got, it is by Guru's mercy and the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, how may I have? By age and experience, in both ways, he, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja, is senior to me. Also, I have been very fortunate to have his association for a long time, perhaps since 1930. At that time, he had not yet taken sannyas. He had just left home, and as a vanaprastha in white dress, he went to Allahabad. Mahārāja, I think you remember that incident when he went to Allahabad. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. Yes, I do. Thank you. Śrīla Prabhupāda. We took prasadam sitting on the roof. Oh yes, since that auspicious occasion, we have remained connected. Before that, in 1922, I was a manager at Dr. Bose's laboratory in Kolkata. As a young man, I was a nationalist in the Congress Party, a devotee of Mahatma Gandhi and C.R. Das. Actually, I had been in connection with Congress when Annie, I don't know how you say that name, when Annie Besant became the Congress president. But later, I became more serious for that, and in 1920, I gave up my education. Not long after that, one of my friends, I think you remember that friend, Narendra Mulak. He was my intimate friend. At that time, old Tirthamaraj, Bhakti Pradeep Mahārāja, he went to my house to beg alms. Narendra Mulak was a very rich man, and he informed me that one very nice old sannyasi had come to his house and had invited him to go to Ultadanga, where there is a Gaudiya Math. He said that he wished to go there and asked me why don't I come? Let's go together. He was my very intimate friend. At that time, I was a little pessimistic. I thought, I know all these sadhus, so I said, I'm not going. But he forced me. Why not? Come on. Finally, I told, let us go. So I went to see His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in 1922, in that Ultadanga building. At that time, Śrīla Prabhupāda was sitting on the roof, where there was a small room. We were welcomed there because Narendra Mulak was known to the devotees as a very rich man and had contributed some money. We went to see Prabhupada and offered our obeisances. Immediately, Prabhupada said to me, because you are an educated young man, why don't you preach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message throughout the whole world? I replied to him, Sir, we are a dependent nation. Who will hear our message? We can talk about all these things after we get independence. I was politically minded at that time, but he refuted my arguments. Certainly, I was defeated, and I took his words very seriously. I appreciated him. Then we were offered some prasadam and came down from there. My friend Narendra Mulak asked me, how did you like this sadhu? I said, yes, he is a sadhu in whose hands Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message is there. And it will be done. It will be successfully preached. I think it was very nice. That was my appreciation. Then, in 1923, I resigned my post at Bose's laboratory, and I accepted the agency for the whole of UP, beginning from the Mughal state side up to the New Delhi. I made my head office in Allahabad. I was always thinking that, yes, I met a very nice sadhu. From the very beginning, that was my impression, that I had met a real sadhu. So actually, I perceived that the words, Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, a moment's association with a pure devotee can give all perfection, I perceived that these words are real. I perceived that. I was impressed so much by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That impression continued with me. Then, in 1928, there was the Kumbh Mela. Maharaj, when did you join the Gaudiya Math? Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj, in 1927. Śrīla Prabhupāda. During that Kumbh Mela, all of a sudden, old Tirtha Maharaj came with a party to my shop in Allahabad, Prayag Pharmacy. I thought, oh, these are the people I saw in the Gaudiya Math. Yes, come in. I was so glad. Tirtha Maharaj asked me, we have just come and are going to establish a new temple in Allahabad. We have heard your name, so we have come to you. Please help us. I told him, yes, I will help you. In this way, I contributed some donations. My attending physician contributed also, and some other friends. In this way, we became friends, and Tirtha Maharaj had the first meeting in my home with Sarvasva Brahmachari and Dhir Krishna Brahmachari. Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj. Later, they became Jajavar Maharaj and Parvat Maharaj. Cool. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, my father was a Vaishnav. When I invited these sadhus, my father thought I had invited some sadhus from the Ramakrishna mission. He was not very interested. When Tirtha Maharaj was speaking, I called my father, When Tirtha Maharaj was speaking, I called my father, was a meeting. The English is messed up here. He was in a meeting of the Gaudiya Math. Anyways, he could not refuse my request. He came down, but he did not think devotees had come. He thought some of the Ramakrishna mission rascals had come. He was not very happy. I told him who they were, but still in this meeting he was criticizing. But when he heard the speech of old Tirtha Maharaj, our old godbrother, he understood. Oh, they are Vaishnavas. Immediately after the meeting, he fell down at his feet. I misunderstood you, sir. I thought you were the Ramakrishna mission. I am glad to meet you. That was the beginning of my intimate relationship with the Gaudiya Math. Whenever anybody would come, I would invite them to lecture in my house. In this way, Śrīdhara Maharaj, that Ramendra Sundar Bhattacharya, that was Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj's former name, was invited to my house. I think perhaps I invited Parati Maharaj, that's Bhakti Vivek Parati Maharaj, and you were perhaps with him. Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj. Yes. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, in this way my connection became developed with the Gaudiya Math. Then, gradually, the process began. Harishye tad dhanam shanai. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 10.888. But at that time, I wanted to become a very big businessman, and there was very good opportunity. I was very nicely associated with the chemical industry of India, Dr. Bose's laboratory, Bengal Chemical, P.R. Paul, and all those people. They liked my business organization. Then I started a big laboratory in Lucknow. Those were golden days. But gradually everything dwindled away, and at last my Allahabad business was lost. So after that I was sitting at home, and Jajavar Maharaj, at that time Sarvasva Brahmachari, and also Atulananda Brahmachari came to take their subscriptions. They were requesting me, why don't you come to our math? You are free now. So I used to visit their temple. It was not far from my house, in Marat. Then the intimate relationship with Gaudiya Math grew. In this way I was going on. In 1933, Sir Malcolm Haley came to lay down the foundation stone of the Allahabad Math. Śrīla Maharaj, I think you remember. Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj. Yes, the devotees who attended that function were coming from Vrindavan Parikrama. Śrīla Prabhupāda. That parikrama is another incident. I was not initiated at that time, but I already had a great admiration for these Gaudiya Math people. Just as before 1933, I had met Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj, old Tirtha Maharaj, and other devotees, and they were very kind to me. So during this parikrama, I also thought, What are these people doing on this parikrama? Let me go. So I met them in Koshi, perhaps. Maharaj, you may remember, and everyone was going to see this place, Sheshashai. Sorry, I don't know who's trying to call me. Probably about the Gaudiya Kirtan app. Okay. Maharaj, you may remember, and everyone was going to see this place, Sheshai. They were led by Van Maharaj and Nemi Maharaj. At that time, Vinod Bhai, later Srila Keshav Maharaj, informed us that Prabhupada was going to Mathura tomorrow morning, and he would speak Harikatha this evening. Anyone who wants to stay may remain, otherwise they may go to see Sheshai. That evening, only 10 or 12 men remained. Out of these, Śrīdhara Maharaj was one of these. I also thought it was wise to stay. I thought, we shall see, what shall I see there? Let me hear Prabhupada speak. Let me hear him. Prabhupada marked that. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj, it was better to hear Prabhupada than to waste time on eye exercise, because Prabhupada is a Vaikuntha person. He could understand. This boy is eager to hear. He very much appreciated that. Srila Prabhupada. When he came back to Allahabad, Ganesh Bapu introduced me to him. Here is a nice devotee. Prabhupada immediately replied, yes, I marked it. He does not go away. He hears. He said these very words. He told, yes, I will accept him. Then I was initiated. In this way, my relationship with the Gaudiya Mats developed more and more. And as it developed, the other side, the business side, diminished. This is a long story, and it would take time to tell. But I had the opportunity of associating with His Holiness, Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj, for several years. One second, I'm muting myself for a second. I'm back. So he told, yes, I will accept him. Then I was initiated. In this way, my relationship with the Gaudiya Mat developed more and more. And as it developed, the other side, the business side, diminished. This is a long story and it would take time to tell. But I had the opportunity of associating with His Holiness Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj for several years. I had the opportunity. Krishna and Srila Prabhupada wanted him to prepare me for preaching in the future. Śrīdhara Maharaj lived in my house for a few years, so naturally, we had very intimate talks. He was my good advisor. I took his instructions and advice very seriously, because from the beginning, I knew he was a pure Vaishnava devotee, and I wanted to associate with him. Also, I wanted to help him in so many ways. He also tried to help me. Our relationship is very intimate. After the breakdown of the Gaudiya Mat, I wanted to make another organization with Śrīdhara Maharaj at the head. At one place, one of my friends had a house at Shelda with Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Maharaj. I had the idea of establishing something. Śrīdhara Maharaj, you may remember it. In so many ways, I tried to organize something, but somehow or other. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj, yes, at that time I also had one house on Harrison Road. It was very small. Srila Prabhupāda, yes, and the house in Shelda, my friend wanted to rent it for only 90 rupees. I said, give me more concession. At that time, he was getting 125 rupees. But because I was his friend, he said, all right, I will give you for 90 rupees. But that could not happen somehow or other. In this way, I was trying from the very beginning, after the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, to organize something. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj, when was the appearance of Back to Godhead magazine? Srila Prabhupada, that was in 1944. I think, Maharaj, you were at my house at that time. So somehow or other, the intention for preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu increased at that time. And on the other side, the business side decreased. I was not disinclined. Still, I had some idea to carry on those things. But Krishna forced me. You must give it up. This is all well known to Śrīdhara Maharaj, how that side decreased. Then it became almost nil, and I left home around 1950 or so. Okay, my lord, you do with me whatever you like. Then from 1950 to 1959, I remained as a vanaprastha. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. In the meantime, when you were still in household life, there was our time in Bombay life. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Bombay life, yes. Practically the Gaudiya Math there was established by us. I was there, Śrīdhara Mahārāja also. And we made 2 parties for collecting alms. Śrīdhara Mahārāja, myself, and Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who at that time was Atulananda Brahmachari, we made 1 party. I took them to some of my friends, business friends and doctor friends. We collected about 500 rupees. Śrīdhara Mahārāja would speak. I would give an introduction, and Gosvāmī Mahārāja would canvass. In this way, we combined together collecting 500 rupees in 1 or 2 days. At that time, 500 rupees was a big sum. Gosvāmī Mahārāja very much appreciated me, and he began to speak highly about me. He said that Abhay Babu is very expert. He has so many friends. He has collected so many things. So why shouldn't he be in charge of the Math? He spoke in this way. Why should he not be with us? Why is he living separately? But Prabhupada told me, and Śrīdhara Mahārāja may remember it. It is better to live separate from them now. You will do the needful in due course of time. I could not understand what Śrīla Prabhupāda meant by that, but his blessings and inclination were always upon me. Although I was unfit, he was so kind. His blessings and inclination were always upon me, although I was unfit. He was so kind. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. Also, I was afraid of not collecting sufficient funds to construct the Bombay Math, so he asked you. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, Prabhupada gave me some money. Because of that, he said, you keep this money, and when they have need, you can give it. So it is by Guru and Vaishnav's grace, whatever position I have gotten. It is by Guru's grace and Vaishnav's blessings. Otherwise, I am insufficient. So I wish that Śrīdhara Mahārāja may continue to bestow his blessings, as he has always been doing, and may Guru Mahārāja help me so that I can give some service for a long time. Śrīdhara Mahārāja. You were translating Srimad Bhagavatam in Radha Damodar Mandir. The inspiration that you received in Srila Jiva Goswami's Mandir, and which the deities gave you, was for going to the foreign lands. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, Guru Maharaj wanted that Mahaprabhu's message be preached abroad, and the Gaudiya Math people did not do anything. So I thought, let me try in this old age. This inspiration came to go to the West, and I went. And by his grace, it has become a little successful. That's all. I have no credit. It is the blessings of Guru and Vaishnav. I did not know how things were happening. I am not at all a bona fide person. It is only through Charya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Payeche Keba. Without serving an ideal Vaishnav, who can be delivered from the clutches of Maya? Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. Throwing yourself in the current of eternity. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, Hare Krishna. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. That is carrying you towards the divine. It carries you towards the land of gold, the golden avatar. The golden avatar had a golden color. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, I always tell my American disciples that you are so well taken care of in your country. You have all material assets. Your position is very good. And now you take to Krishna consciousness and become a perfect nation. I always preach that. By the grace of Krishna, you have got everything, all material opulences. Now make it plus Krishna. Then it will be very nice. Keep always the Lakshmi with Narayan. These boys are trying very sincerely and seriously, and I hope, even though I don't live very many more years, they will carry out this order. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. One second, I need to blow my nose again. Oh, Hari Bol Krishnamaya Didi and Champak Mātājī. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. It is coming down, this descending grace. Prabhupada used to quote Srila Bhakti Vinod. Dhara kaho he ruddha habe nai. The divine dhara kaho he ruddha habe nai. Yeah, it will never become. The divine current will never be obstructed. So if that current of grace comes down to us, we are all counted within that current. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yes, in that current, the other side is being washed away. Mayar vashe jacho bheshe. Floating, controlled by Maya, from the song Radha Krishna Bol Bol. And we were always being cleaned, washed away by that wave, Bhakti Taranga. In conclusion, what we have been presented are just tiny samples of statements by Śrīla. Okay, now that's the end. Then now Mūla-prakṛti, Mātājī again. In conclusion, what we have presented are just tiny samples of statements by Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja glorifying our Śrīla Prabhupāda and his preaching. Once, when Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja was defining ISKCON, he quoted from Raghunath Das Goswāmī, Nama Shreshtam Manomapi Satchiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasya Grujam Urum Purim Maturim Gushtavatim. It's from the Mukta Charitam. This is ISKCON, he said. Many times in his humility, he would say, we are from the same soil, but he, Śrīla Prabhupāda, is so great in his magnitude. Like an ocean, he has inundated the world with Krishna consciousness. But me, I am just a man taking a seat in the corner, trying to supply just one glass of water. Once, after the departure of Śrīla Prabhupāda, some of his disciples came to visit Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja in Navadvip. They discussed the preaching of the holy name for an hour or so, and then they honored prasadam. As they were departing, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja called them back. He said, I was thinking how your ISKCON's earnestness for preaching is so sincere that Mahaprabhu himself supplied that prasadam to you. So I have asked Govinda Maharaj to make a separate portion for me so that I can also honor that prasadam. Someone said, thank you for everything. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja replied, saying thank you, that does not sit well with me. That presupposes two parties. Then he added with affection, we are all Mahaprabhu's family. All right, so that is our reading from this book for today. I'd like to continue reading this, so let me just look at the... tomorrow is Dhananjaya Pandit Gadadhar Das Thakur Srinivasacharya and Gopastami. Maybe we'll read about these personalities, and if there's extra time we can read more from this book. Otherwise, the day after tomorrow we can continue reading from this book. Yeah. All right. Kishore is saying, ultimately, it had to be Param Gurudev to give Prabhupada sannyas. Gurudev once asked the devotees, do you know why your Guru took sannyas from my Gurudev? The devotee said because Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja was too familiar with his family. Then Gurudev said, no, he took from my Gurudev because they were bosom friends. Yeah, actually, I was just talking with a couple of my friends here just yesterday. If you go to bigdrum.us, you see there's an article written by Śrīla Prabhupāda, an old article written for the Gaudiya Patrika called Vairagya. It's a satire, and it's very spicy. And anyways, we were just talking about how Śrīla Prabhupāda and our Param Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, were very much like the same nature. They were very much on the offensive. Śrīla Śrīdhara Goswami Maharaj was a bit more like, he wasn't as like aggressive as Śrīla Prabhupāda and Param Gurudev in their preaching. But yeah, Śrīla Prabhupāda and Param Gurudev, they were really like in the same kind of, they're both, right? Acharya Kesaris, they were lion-like acharyas. They were fierce and would go on the offensive, defeating all the misconceptions everywhere and establishing. And Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj is a little bit more like, he was Bhakti Rakṣaka, protecting everything, but not in such an aggressive way, like Prabhupada and Param Gurudev. All right, Nrihari Prabhu, would you like to glorify Śrīla Prabhupada?
Yes, excuse me, yes, Prabhu. Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to put a, what?
Oh, you're not doing this. The noise reduction.
The what?
Nothing. It's fine.
Okay, but when you were saying something, so it's this one.
Yeah, the noise reduction thing is it works great for when you're just speaking. It's when you're playing instruments, then it tries to take out the instruments and then it takes out your voice and everything. But for speaking, the noise reduction thing is great. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't know. Yeah, because we could have sung,
You don't need it.
but today we don't need it.
Yeah.
And so, can you see? Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyabari Paschata Visatani Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Adikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti. First of all, I'd like to offer my Koti Koti Dandanas Pranams and Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my beloved spiritual master. Nitalila Pravishta Om Vishnupar Astatara Sattva Srimad Bhaktivedanta Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, and equally to the lotus feet of my beloved Shiksha Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Also to all my beloved Shiksha Gurudevs, Bhakti Vigyan Keshav, Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, Bhakti Balavatirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, of course Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Srila Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj, our Param Gurudevs, and my Diksha and direct Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupāda, and beg of them to sprinkle their mercy and be able to speak and glorify my Gurudev, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Equally, I'd like to offer my Danda Pranams to all of you, the audience, especially beginning with Sannyas, Gan, Sajan Maharaj, and any other sannyas that might be in the audience, and to all of you Prabhus and Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. My most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Beg of you to sprinkle your mercy and be able to glorify my spiritual master today. Of course, I was so enthralled by the reading, and especially such stalwart devotees, whom Prabhupada, like Bhakti Rakṣaka Srila Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj, my spiritual master, consider him the Shiksha Gurudev. There are so many letters and exchanges, so well documented. Of course, also, like Gurudev said, such a friendship, deep friendship with Param Gurudev and Bhakti Keshav Maharaj, both they had. In 1973, October, I received the letter. We received the letter at the temple. At that time, well, to begin with, I met the devotees in 1971. I took a year off college, and although my father was opposed to it, my mother insisted that I was such a good student, I was valedictorian, that I will come back and finish. my career, my studies. So he said, okay, I'll give you a ticket and you can go. My hidden desire always was to go to India. For some reason, I had a call from early on in my life. And, there was two things. I could say that I was always searching for, to know who really the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, if he exists, what is he doing? And my mother was instrumental in fomenting and pushing me to continue to my search. So in 1971, I arrived in San Francisco and I went straight to Berkeley, and that's where I got my first BTG. It was in January, February of 71. And that's when I first saw, and I was all for peace and love. You know, our generation was pretty dissatisfied with the society the way it was, and we wanted something truly spiritual, not hypocritical. So anyhow, here I got my first BTG, and back of it is Balaram killing Pralambasura. But I liked it anyhow, even though the picture you say, well, it's pretty violent, you know, but we always, even as kids, you know, we like the triumph of good over evil. So anyhow, and then I opened in Argentina. There had been when I was little, by 3 years old, the dictator was, because at that time the whole world, it was pretty much into leaders like Hitler, Stalin. There was, including Roosevelt, he could have stayed in office for even a third term, but it was like that. So in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, we had a very intelligent military man by career, diplomat, who took over by vote and then remained. So by the time I was 3, he was ousted. But he used to, I'm sorry, I do reference to him because when I opened the BTG, I saw a photo of Prabhupada with his arms raised and looking this way, so sideways. And this dictator used to do the same thing, you know, and his thing was, you know, worship me, you know, I'm God. And so I said, oh no, you know, this is one of those egocentric gurus. So I closed him out and I put it in my bag, but I kept it. I was at that time trying to get to New York, visiting and like that. Anyhow, so that was my introduction to the first time I saw Prabhupada. And unfortunately, that magazine was stolen before I was able to. My bag got stolen, and so I lost the BTG. But one thing that was prevalent, and all thanks to Śrīla Prabhupāda, is the chanting of the holy name. Every day I would go to Berkeley and sit at the steps of the entrance to the university, and the devotees would come and do kirtan for several hours. So I would just sit and listen. And I think at that time it was Vishnu Jana, and then they would go down Telegraph Avenue back to the temple. But some of the youth there said, no, you know, their views are, you know, pretty fanatical, and they don't like women, and so I was attracted, but at the same, you know, my mind and the influence of other youth, they don't allow me to really delve into the teachings. So it wasn't until fast forward, and everywhere I went to New York, and then from New York I went to London. The devotees were there, and they were doing Harinam Sankirtan. So it was 1973 when we received the letter, and I was accepted as I was giving Harinam first, and Prabhupada said, wait a few months and I will give, you know, let's see how serious this devotee is. And so my sister and I, we both got Harinam. And I was recommended by Hanuman, who was sannyas. So I met him when I first came back from England, and he was at a corner, and I said, "Oh, I know you. Are you Hare Krishna? You speaking?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "I'm opening a temple, so I'm looking for paint." So I took him to the hardware store. He gave me a card with a Maha Mantra.
I missed who the person was. Did he say his name is Hanuman?
Hanuman Gosvāmī.
Okay.
And he was a senior disciple. He opened Paris with Mātājī Prabhu. Okay. And in the biographical film by Bhakti Swami, there is a little section where Hanuman lived. He lived under the bridges in the Seine, in the river Seine in Paris, and conducted his preaching from there. And he went out every day. And very dynamic preacher. He opened many temples. He made many devotees. And anyhow, I'm sorry?
He was from Quebec.
Oh, he was born in Quebec, so French Canadian. So he spoke French. And so then he headed the first opening, the first temple there in Paris, with Mātājī Prabhu, Mahārāja, I think. He was the first one in Malaysia. He had a very gifted speaker, Hanuman Prabhu. And so he attracted multitude of people. He had meetings with the Indian community in Malaysia before any of the Western disciples of Śrīla Prabhupāda came. And there were thousands of people that would come. Then he went to Bali. He was the first devotee there in Indonesia. And then he jumped to back to America. He was in Australia also too, supporting Bali Mardhan Prabhu and his preaching, and Upendra Prabhu. They were the first ones there to open, I think, Australia. And then Madhuvisa Prabhu. So Hanuman went over to, and I believe in 72, took sannyas from Śrīla Prabhupāda, received the title of Gosvāmī. Trini was there.
Oh wow!
Go ahead.
You were explaining that you saw him on the road and he was trying to get paint. You said that he was when I
went back to in 72, at the end of 72, maybe beginning of 73, I went back to Buenos Aires from England, and he was coming down in the Americas from 72. Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia. He had like amazing experiences and preached to so many. And we were actually, it was difficult times because Catholic Church was very suspicious of this international society and Prabhupada, and he was attracting all the youth. Here it is, the government trying to how to curtail all this drug abuse and illicit sex. It was so rampant, what we call it free love, and the discontent among the youth. So there was a big anti-war movement, and it was worldwide and inspired by many of the artists of the time, among them including the Beatles. But then there was a shift, at that time in their early 70s, because the arrival of devotees and Prabhupada, his arrival of Prabhupada in 67, San Francisco, and pushed, as you were reading Shamasundar's book, how it was. It's such an amazing storyteller he is, and it really puts why the attraction, why the youth, at that time we had a song, if you go into San Francisco, make sure you wear flowers in your head. And at that time, the youth were coming to the park. But why? The main attraction was Śrīla Prabhupāda. But the press wasn't really printing that. It was all about the hippies and the big circles and the communes and that. So that was attractive to me too, he got to Buenos Aires. So now Hanuman, in his way made his way down to Buenos Aires, and I came back from England, and I met him at the corner. And I had all my ideas of that even the youth too. At that time, Russia and America, they were really almost about to go to war. The only way we called the deterrent was that they were both armed with nuclear weapons, and so that stopped them from destroying each other. And so I thought that the solution would be to find some place in Patagonia, the south of Argentina, and do something, raise sheep, because that would be non-violent. And so it's like, it's not that I'm Arjuna, but I had all my, philosophy of, non-violence and, I'm against the philosophy of society that was so hypocritical and fomenting war, for profit, all this stuff that's going on, and no information whatsoever about who God is, who He is. Does it exist? Does not exist? And if it exists, who is He? Okay, make a story short. Sorry. I met Hanuman at the corner. He gave me a card with the Maha Mantra. And then I went again. I was traveling at that time to the country and like that. And nature I thought, was truly God, but God wasn't in the cities, but God was in the country. And so that was kind of the idea of many of us in that time. But at the same time, we were looking into, the youth was looking into the teachings from the Orient. And so India was pretty prominent, of course. And then there were the group of impersonalism was very permeating then among the youth. Lao Tse, the teachings of Lao Tse, and at that time, we used to throw the I Ching and Confucius, and all different philosophies like that. I remember from being in college, all we learned from India was one page. We had like chapters of history of Greece and Rome. But India, we had only one page, and they enumerated the Upanishads, maybe the Puranas, but it was a brief thing. So you study, you pass the test, and that was it. But I always had that curiosity. So at that time, also the youth, many of the musicians, George Harrison, by meeting the devotees, and even before, he heard the Maha Mantra, and he heard the album in '69 that Brahmananda and the devotees put together. Remember about Trini, what name was the album? I think maybe the Happening album. But anyhow, it was played.
It was recorded in New York.
Yeah, it was recorded in New York, and the Beatles bought it and started distributing it. So by the time the devotees arrived with Shyamasundar and Gaurasundar, Guru Das Prabhu and Mukunda Prabhu, there were three or four couples that went to London, and they met George Harrison. The rest is history. But George Harrison was very instrumental in propagating the Maha Mantra. So, under inspiration of Śrīla Prabhupāda, the youth it was inspired, and the George Harrison especially. So including the Beatles, even Bhattarani, the Rolling Stones, they had bead bags. They were actual velvet and purple bead bags. They were, and everybody started chanting the Maha Mantra, and it was Prabhupada inspiring all my godbrothers, the senior godbrothers, to propagate the chanting of the holy name and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So I was just about, from London, I was just about to go to Amsterdam to take a bus to India, because that was my ultimate goal. And I wasn't sure I wasn't going back home at that time. But anyhow, reasons of visa, I'm hanging out with the hippies and artists in Portobello, down Portobello Road in London. There was a raid, and my visa had run out, so I got deported. Or not deported, actually, I was asked to leave. So when I had my ticket back to Argentina, so that's when I went back and I arrived, and I met Hanuman. And so my sister on her own, she used to go to the park where the artists were, and my sister on her own met Hanuman and his servant, at that time, Prakāsananda Prabhu, and it was her daughter who heard the mantra, and Gangamai, later on Gangamai, pulled my sister's skirt. She wanted to go back across the street and go listen to the Mahamudra. And so my sister went and listened and got a card. So when I came back, and we were friends, even though she was 11 years older than me, we were like a mutual admiration for her. She was an avant-garde artist, protege of very famous people, friends of, people that were friends with Picasso. Some of them built the Museum of Modern Art in New York. They were designers and, very prominent people in the world of arts and worldwide. Anyhow, so I had admiration for her. And I said, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, I don't know. Oh, look, I have this card. Let's go check him out. And let's go check it out. So that was when I first then heard the philosophy. And the sannyas, Hanuman, he just started to learn Spanish, although French is kind of close, it's a Latin. And so he asked me to translate the verse from Bhagavad Gita. He would give classes 3 times a week. And on Sunday feast, he would read also from Bhagavad Gita. And he asked me to translate the verse and the purport, and then read it, and he would lecture on it. So that's what really got me to stay and start my love affair with Śrīla Prabhupāda. Because all my questions were answered very quickly. It just in the mornings. So when I came back, I was just really despondent. I just, I didn't want to go back really to college, but I did the intent to, and then the dean was calling my mom, pestering for me to come back, and my dad said, I pay for my career, though, so you should work. And so I went to the laboratory where he was one of the managers, and he didn't believe in nepotism. He didn't believe in favoring, because you're my son, you're going to get a job at my place at work. So on my own merit, I went and they did a test, IQ test and aptitude, and they told me, well, in a way you're overqualified, and we believe that you probably end up doing your own company. I said, but I need a job. And it was like all the doors were closing for both of us. Oh, my sister was pretty wealthy. She won the Cannes Festival with her husband of the film, a campaign for 7-Up in 1969. And so they went to the Cannes Festival, which is very famous, like the Oscars of Europe and the world. And they have major films, but also they have a section for shorts and like that. So they were pretty wealthy. Anyhow, her thing went too. Her husband got cancer, and disappeared, used all the fortune, and she was left pretty much alone with her daughter. So for both of us, the doors were closing, and they were guiding us to finally surrender to Śrīla Prabhupāda. But I tell you, intuitively, I knew there was somebody in the planet, and I told this to my sister before even meeting Hanuman or start reading the philosophy. She was saying, what's the use of living? There's nothing they can offer in this material world that, is permanent, is static, or like that. We're expressing our words. I say, no, just, there is hope. I know there is someone. He might not even be from this planet. I told her, I remember these words, that is going to help us. And so fast forward, I'm reading, very despondent. But when I met Hanuman, he said, "Oh, I keep classes in the morning of Srimad Bhagavatam." Oh my God, that was the best. I loved Gita, but Srimad Bhagavatam was, in the preface, Prabhupada explains he puts together the history of the planet, he puts together all these pearls that, I was searching, but also describing that God is a person, a transcendental person, as you know. So for me, Prabhupada, it calmed all, it ended my search, it calmed my angst, for what are the answers. And also, since I was little, that thing about God sitting on a throne, and throwing thunderbolts, it wasn't really, complete. So, so much debt of gratitude. And I cannot express all the qualities, but through my life, I just trying to, telling you how I join, and try to present a little bit of his qualities. So fast forward, I met him in 73, about a month after my letter of initiation. Hanuman decided he wanted to give up sannyas and wanted to marry my sister. And I was kind of shocked, because we were so fired up. I thought we'll go everywhere in South America. And I said the word South America, Vedica, Vedic South America. We can just turn the whole place, people are so thirsty. It was every time we went out and we talk, or we did Mahamantra, we will stop and distribute. We only had a 2-page thing. Later on we got 3 books, and Bhagavad Gita wasn't yet translated. I started to translate the Gita, and by the time I met Prabhupada, I had about 17 chapters. And I edited 3 books that I brought with me to see Śrīla Prabhupāda. So by reading his books, I started to realize who he was, his character, the magnitude of his personality, and it actually was a true representative of God at that time. And so when we got to Los Angeles, Hanuman introduced us in person. We went up to his quarters, and that's the very first time I met him in person. And clenching the books, the 3 books, and talking about compassion and mercy. Prabhupada, Hanuman first thing opened up. The 3 of us were in his office. He said, "Prabhupada, I'm so sorry. I left sannyas. Forgive me." I said, "Prabhupada." So Prabhupada told me, "No, it's okay now. You're 2. You preach double." So see that compassion, not only just the kindness of not caring really if he goes sannyas, but the compassion of Prabhupada that expanded to all humanity, to care for the welfare of humanity by sending preachers, or sending people that would spread the philosophy and the Mahamantra to all humanity. He truly believed, and then convinced me that actually that's what I really joined too, that it was the best altruistic thing that we can do, the best benefit for humanity's Krishna consciousness, that will bring a solution to all the problems that humanity faces. And so then of course he went deeper. But at that time, my first meeting, I was just dumbstruck, and I couldn't speak anything. Prabhupada would just look at me and talk. But first, with Hanuman and introduced us, and Prabhupada said, "Oh, you look very aristocratic," and he picked it immediately that that I come actually from nobility, Spanish French nobility on my mother's side, and then on her mother's side they were viceroys to Argentina from Spain, so they came in 1500s and they funded churches. So and then on my mother's father's side, he was from Madrid, from nobility. The Carrions were, descendants of the kings of Castile and Aragon, and they became the unified Spain, whatever. Anyhow, Prabhupada immediately pointed that, but I just and so I kept holding the books, and Prabhupada kept asking, signaling to me to come closer. And I didn't understand, maybe there was somebody behind. Anyhow, I go to right next to his desk, and talking about Paramatma, his quality of, he did with his eyes, he let me know that you brought me something. Oh, and I realized he said there's 3 books, so I gave him the 3 books, and Prabhupada was eyes open, and he was such a smile, and it was like sunshine after the storm, It was like, all those who had witnessed his smile, they could tell you, there's nothing to compare. And then he proceeded to read the titles in perfect Castilian Spanish. And I'm thinking, wow, Prabhupada speaks all languages. He speaks Spanish. I'm thinking that way. Prabhupada turned around to me and looked and said, Krishna speaks even the birds' languages. So that's the beginning of our relationship. And we went to several darshans, and I was able to come and see him. And another time too, we went to see him with Hanuman, and he had chest massage, and his knee was sticking out of the desk, and his body was cold, and he was emanating the glow. It was just like his effulgence. And Hanuman again said, "Oh, Prabhupada, I fell down." I said, Prabhupada smiled and said, "Nah, it's like," he said, there, and he went like that on his knees. It is like Bhakti Yoga is about practice. The more you do, the better you get. It's like playing Mridanga. So anyhow, then he found out that I was translating. He gave me, continue the service. But anyhow, that's another story. And 75. Oh, and so I moved to my first wife. We moved to, she was from San Diego. And so we moved to Ahadasi, was joined too early, maybe 17 maybe. So she wanted to go back to California to have the baby there. And so I could translate any place. So I told that to the GBC, but they didn't agree. And, anyhow, they took the service away. So I had one letter that I wrote Prabhupada, sent it to, with a photo of Mahaprabhu. And he says, "Oh, he blessed us." And he said, "Yeah, you continue, if you can't translate, continue on." But it was very difficult. The temple demands, and as a Grihasta, I knew that I had to support the temple, not take from it. And so I was doing Sankirtan, I was collecting, I was trying, my plan was to have some of the donation to use for paper and typewriter, and that didn't manifest. And so Keshava came. Oh, at that time also Prabhupada came in 70. Fast forward to 70. Well, it was 74 when my first Rath Yatra. We saw Prabhupada dancing, and so many things. I saw Prabhupada. We were in Valencia Street at that time, and it had been a mortuary, that place, and it had two double doors, and it was a big hall. The devotees empty and painted. They made it like really nice, I saw Kirtananda. We were all waiting for Prabhupada coming, and I saw Kirtananda Mahārāja at that time Mahārāja to come right through the first set of doors and to the next one to greet Prabhupada, and he embraced Prabhupada. I said, "Wow, you can embrace Guru Mahārāja?" So that was such an awe and reverence, and we were told, "Don't touch his feet. No one should touch his feet." So, I hope you don't mind, I just try to remember his qualities and put in historical reference to my experiences. And so my experience of Rath Yatra 74, which became the official Rath Yatra by the mayor, it was where Prabhupada is dancing and throwing flowers and like that. And that one, Prabhupada made us aware that even Narada Muni came. And we were all like, "What?" And he said, "Yes, he was that brahmachari, that fat brahmachari that nobody paid attention to. And I swear I saw him. He was standing by himself. He looked American. He looked like really kind of fat, big, and he had like shoes. And nobody was paying attention to him. Everybody was running towards the stage and like that. And then with Aham, I stopped and something. I looked at him and said, "So I don't," because I remember faces, and I made all this. After meeting Prabhupada in person, Hama introduced me to from IGBC to Satsarup, all the devotees, and then all the rank and file, all the other devotees I met. Of course, he came Mūla-prakṛti and Vrindavan Vilasini, and I was I was a little devotee in the team Sankirtan team there in '74. But anyhow, I didn't recognize him even from the temple, because we were there for a week or so, and I didn't see him in Arti, or I didn't see him in, Green of the deities or anything like that. It's like, I'm pretty observant.
This fat brahmachari was just there during the Rath Yatra festival, and then he's never to be seen again.
Yeah.
That's so mystical.
It was so mystical. I mean, and then, but I saw him, and then, we go back to the temple, and the Prabhupada gives a lecture and said, yeah, even Narada Muni was there. It was the fat brahmachari that nobody pay attention to. And so, talking about things are mystical with Śrīla Prabhupāda. I was in presence too of when he sprinkled us with this. He went into ecstasy, and he tears were shooting out of his eyes. And now we learn all these things from Chaitanya Charitamrita and like that, and Ashta Sattvikas, and all the symptoms like that. But Prabhupada would display them, here and there. And he tried to, very humbly, he expressed them like that. There were times like that. So yeah, how he Shashad Haritana Samasta Sastra. Like he is. I'm sorry, I'm speaking. It's kind of long. Sorry. That how he is identical to Hari, but at the same time he is the best servitor. And so one night we were in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada gave a lecture, and he said, "Do you like that?" And we all went roaring, "Yes, Jai Prabhupada." He said, "I liked it too." And he paused. He said, "That's Paramatma." So, and then through corroborating with my godbrothers, the stories, because I watch everything, like, how Prabhupada said, yes, every morning Krishna comes and dictates to me, so that in the books we see how, they come in through him. And the other thing, what you were reading about Śrīdhara Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, when Minekatan Das, Ram Das, devotee from Canada, and early he was one of the first ones to come to Mayapur with Śrīla Prabhupāda, and he was witness to the first meeting after Prabhupada arrived triumphantly from America and Europe, the first meeting with Śrīdhara Mahārāja. And he said they looked at each other, they start dancing and embracing around the room. And Śrīdhara Mahārāja said, "You did it, you did it." It was
That is so beautiful. I've never heard that before. That is so beautiful. Wow.
You did it. Imagine seeing these two giant Vaishnavas dancing and embracing. It was like he said, Minekatan Das, he said, it was like a scene from Chaitanya Charitamrita, or, like, how fortunate, how fortunate.
Yeah.
So there is so much to say, and I'm just very, very little insignificant speck that I beg to remain at the lotus feet of Prabhupada and never forget him. The saying goes, always remember Krishna, never forget him. But I think that even most important is always remember Guru Mahārāja, never forget. And so I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and beg of you for my mistakes or offenses. I mean, want to make it center on me, but I just thought the best reference would be my experience to tell it, and in that way you can see some of his qualities. Yeah, so many adjustments. But one important thing, the meeting that I told you about, there were several parts of the meeting, and one of them is Hanuman asking Śrīla Prabhupāda, when you go, are you leaving somebody as acharya? Prabhupada said, no, I want Tarikaho Krishna Upadesh. I want all of you to come to that standard, so that to teach, all you have to do is repeat what Krishna has said. Don't add on, subtract anything. And then Hanuman asked him, this is very important to me, and I think to many. When you're gone, Prabhupada, how if I need guidance, and we don't know, Anugatya, all the terms that we learn, later on. Who do I take shelter? What do I do? Prabhupada said, go to the Vaishnava your heart tells you to. And he didn't say go to the zonal GBC or stay in the institute. No, he said go to the Vaishnava your heart tells you to. And so I had that since 1975, and I kept it, and I thought, go to the Vaishnava. And I did go to many Vaishnavas consulting about guidance, and but they weren't Vaishnava, the pure devotee. So their solutions were kind of relative and they fell short of. Some say, no, you take sannyasa. I say, no, your grihastha is best, ashram during. And so I was in this Sankirtan party collecting for Mayapur and with Gargamuni, and so it was so many misinterpretations. But I'm sorry, the thing about go to Vaishnava, heart tells you to. When I first saw Sri Narayana Mahārāja and I started hearing from him, I said, oh, that is the Vaishnava. I can take shelter. And then in your readings, I think it's Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, you were reading maybe a few days ago about that the Shiksha Gurudev, we know who the Shiksha Gurudev is because he deepens your relationship with your Diksha Gurudev. In that way, they see that there is no difference between them. So that was it that I wanted to add on. There's a lot, probably I can go on, but sorry if I took too much time, and I beg of you to forgive me, and
No,
always
beautiful.
that I could remember forever my Shiksha and Diksha Gurudevs and serve them. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo.
Jai Ho. Thank you so much, Indeed, Hari Prabhu. That was beautiful. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Sorry to all the audience to go over time. Now I look at my clock.
It's okay. I also started late because I started late, so no worries. All right, that was wonderful. Hare Krishna. Kishore Prabhu, would you like to do the Jaidwani?
You're done.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bo, Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. No, Kishore, you could just do regular Jadwani. How you do it?
Jai Swabrikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gan Harvika Giridhari Radha Vinar Vihari Radha Nainath Radha Raman Vihari Radha Marva Shri Shri Sachinan Gaur Hari Radha Damadar Jiv Ki Jai Jai Sri Govind Govinath Maran Mahan Jiv Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lela Pravishtam Vishnupar Paramaham Sabri Vrajagshari Varyasto Drashta Shishiman Bhakti Vikan Shri Bharati Gosvāmī Guru Mahārāja Ki Jai जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार परमहंस सबरे व्रजगचार्य वर्यास्त्रो दृष्ट शिष्मान भक्तिभ्रांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पतित पावन श्रील गुरुदेव की जय जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार स्तो दृष्ट शिष्मान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार स्तो दृष्ट शिष्मान भक्तिभ्रांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नत्यलेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार स्तोत्र शिष्मान भक्तिभ्रांत विक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नत्यलेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार नित्यानंद शक्त विश्वतार स्तोत्र श्रीमान His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai Jagar Guru Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai जयंत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति माधव गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति गौरव वैकानस गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नत्यलेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नत्यलेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान श्री वर्षभाना विधैत दास शिर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय स्वावरिका शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस स्तोत्रस्त शिष्मान गौर किशोर दास भविष्य महाराज की जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्रस्त शिष्मान जगन्नाथ सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्रस्त शिष्मान सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वोम अष्टोत्रस्त शिष्मान जगन्नाथ भविष्य महाराज की जय सूर्य कुंदवासी सिद्धर्शन मधुसून दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय श्री उदयदास उदरान दास की जय गुरुविदान आचार्य शिष्यमान बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय महामहोपध्याय रसिकशन मनीषल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय रूप गोस्वामी अवतार शिल वृंदावन दास शील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय जय शील रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय जय शील रामचंद्र कविराज की जय जय शील नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभुत्राय की जय जय श्री शील कृष्ण कविराज गोस्वामी की जय जय व्यास अवतार अरिका विशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री अष्ट कविराज वसुरजान नित्यानंद दुर्श गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट रास रघुनाथ शर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर यनमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ आदि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री शील ईश्वर पुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय श्री शील मारविंद्र पुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय Sri Underdeep, Mayapurisam, Mandip, Godrumdeep, Madhyadeep, Koludeep, Ritudeep, Janadeep, Madhura, Dharmadeep, Rudradeep, Makashi, Navdeep, Dham ki jai. Sri Ek Chakra Dham ki jai. Sri Shantipur Dham ki jai. Sri Gaur Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Garadhar ki jai. जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी गोपा गौ गिर गोवर्धन वनात्मा श्री ब्रज मंडो धाम की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सखी यामन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय विजयेश्वरी प्रजेश्वरी रसेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय जय श्री ललिता विशाखा चित्र चंपकला तुंग विद्या इंदुलेखा रंग देवी सुदेवी हरि सखी वृंद की जय जय श्री अनंग प्रेम मजलाली शिरोपल गंगा राग विलास गुणरति कस्तूरी कमला नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय श्री विमल मंजरी की जय जय श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय श्री भगवती पूर्णमासी उमाय देवी की जय जय श्री गोपेश्वर सर शिव महादेव की जय जय राधा परंकित धाम श्री वृंदावन की जय जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र निर्माण जीव की जय श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय सर्व विक्रम निशन करे भक्त विक्रम विनाश श्री नरसिंह देव की जय भक्तराज भक्त परपर शिवलाल महाराज की जय शिवलाल लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव की जय श्री चरिधाम चरि संप्रदाय चर्याचार्य की जय श्री मध्वारुमनुज विष्णु स्वामी नंबत्याचार्य की जय आकर्मतरा श्री चैतन्य मार्ग की जय श्री कृष्ण बलराम मंदिर की जय श्री गौरीमार वृंद की जय जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म अरि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय ऑल द बुक्स पर शिल प्रभुपाद की जय शिल प्रभुपाद फ्रेंड ऑल की जय जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय जय त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलियुग तर्क ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय श्री अनंत कुरे वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा दमदार की जय श्री राधा दमदार मंदिर की जय जय रूप सनातन की जय जय श्री जीव गोस्वामी की जय जय श्री कार्तिक देवी दामोदरी स्वामिनी श्रीमती राधिका महारानी की जय जय श्री यशोद दामोदर की जय श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपार परमहंस व्रजचारि वर्य अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमार नित्यानंद शक्ति विश्वतार हर सेनापति भक्त हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जगद्गुरु श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय त्रिभुवन पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रयाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः Śrīla Prabhupāda Savior of three worlds ki jai Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai all the devotees watching on YouTube, Facebook and Zoom ki jai Hari Hari Prabhu ki jai Bhagavati Mātājī ki jai Madhukar Prabhu ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda
Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. So, tomorrow we will read about, let's see, Dhananjaya. It's going to be the disappearance day of Dhananjaya Pandit, and also Srila Gadadhar Das Thakur, and Srinivas Acharya, and also Gopashtami. That's all tomorrow. So we will read about that Tithi tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow, we will continue reading about from this beautiful book, Śrīla Prabhupāda, A Friend to All. So,
Prabhuji, one
Yes.
minute, but one more thing.
Yes.
Because I was praying always, about why Prabhupada used A.C. Bhaktivedanta, and I'm so thankful Kishore, actually in this Jayadwanis, he gives him all his names. So here it is, Bhattarini just read
on Facebook,
on
and I don't
Facebook.
remember who was telling it, but someone was. Maybe it was. I don't remember who it was because Facebook is so many people. But he said that the reason Śrīla Prabhupāda, that Śrīla Narayan Mahārāja and Prabhupada, they used to have kind of like conversations where Narayan Mahārāja was against him keeping his initiated name after taking sannyas. So Prabhupada said that one day in Radha Damodar, he heard someone calling, "Hey, Abhay Charanaravindam." So he went out and no one was around and the deities were calling him. And so he decided that that was a sign that he should keep his initiated name.
It was the title.
So,
Wow, amazing. Very
and I
amazing.
just read it on Facebook yesterday, but there's so many things on Facebook, I forget who was putting, but it's someone in our Sangha.
It's like
Maybe Bhagavat Maharaj?
I think I would have remembered if it was Bhagavat, probably.
Okay, well, if you do find that, please share it with me. That's an amazing story. That's
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Narihari was wondering and he was asking, and
that's one of the things I wanted to talk, but I just thought
he asked Bodhayan and he said, "Why don't you ask Śrīla Prabhupāda?" So then he thought, well, maybe Prabhupada felt like it was a title from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
And the other thing is that praying to the spiritual master. And I had a story, and then I forgot I was going to tell, but he will respond, and especially Param Gurudev. And there's a little short story, I'll tell you fast. A godbrother was taking care of Śrīla Prabhupāda's breakfast or something like that. So he thought, if I get wheat germ, which is, the best part of wheat, I make him a halava wheat germ. And so
it'll be healthier.
It will better for Śrīla Prabhupada. So he brings it that, and Prabhupada said, "What is this? Take it away." And the devotees just he left the room crying and went running down the hall, and there was a picture of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and he went and cried in front of him and asked him, say, "I'm so sorry I come, offense to my spiritual master." And he hears the bell going off. So he ran back to the room, and Prabhupada said, "Yes, the grandfather is more compassionate."
He said, bring me
back. Oh, first he said, "Bring me back that dish."
And he ate the whole thing.
And he ate the whole thing in front of the devotee.
And then he said to him, the grandfather is more kind than the father. He didn't even say, "Oh, you went and prayed to Bhaktisiddhanta. I went and prayed."
He knew. He knew.
Wow.
So that to inspire the devotees, all of you, and all the generations, that yes, we have to internalize, and that way praying, bandhanam, praying, especially to Param Gurudevs. They're very merciful, more than the father. The spiritual master, we have to have awe and reverence, and like Gurudev explained to me, the difference between the shiksha and the diksha is like, for example, is that you see a girl. I said, "Oh my God, there's an attraction." So if you do that in front of the spiritual master, he'll grab a cane and start beating you with it. But the shiksha Gurudev would say, "Prabhu," he probably put his hand on your shoulder and said, "An ocean of fire, a river of poison."
But one devotee, Apimanu, was at Krishna book reading in ISKCON last year, and he said to all the new devotees that were connected to Śrīla Prabhupāda, he said, "The purports in Śrīla Prabhupāda's books love letters to all of you. He knew you would be coming. And then he said the grandfather's wonderful. and
It's
the-
beautiful.
So beautiful. Wow. Thank you.
People,
Wonderful, wonderful notes to end this reading on. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Gives a lot of hope also for all of us who weren't his Śrīla Prabhupāda's direct disciples, but the grandfather is even more kind to his grandchild, right? So there's very,
and
very
many times, yes, and I met and I had read about. Sorry, my condition here. I read that the Prabhupada still making devotees, and the people that prayed to his picture. Like there was a Hungarian girl writing about her grandmother, and he called him that for her was the second coming of Jesus. Anyhow, she started chanting all that, developed a whole relationship. This is in the 90s, just praying to Prabhupada's picture. So it let's keep encouraging each other that yes, that they can hear us.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Haribol. Jai Shri Radha. Dandavat pranams, everybody.